I now have with me my friend, who I have to look at her name tag because she is a wonderful friend. And her official title, Sister Mary Louise Edward, is Mission Education Dominican Studies here at St. Catherine's College. You've been here at St. Catherine. You're number one, a native Kentuckian, so you've part of this Dominican outfit here. You've been here at St. Catherine's
for about 8 years.
8 years. And I think of all the people that I know, not just because you're such a good friend, you know a lot about the history of this place. And I know it's asking you to say a lot in a little bit of time, but let's start from ground zero and see if we can touch on some important things about this sacred place. That's the only way I can describe it.
All right. Well, as many of you know, the friars, the Dominican friars, came to St. Rose and began a parish in 1806. And they opened a school for boys, which was really a seminary for future priests. And not too long after that, the people in the area asked for a school for girls. And so in 1822, Father Wilson must have given a very stirring, impassioned sermon because as a result of the sermon that he gave on that Easter Sunday in 1822, there were 9 women from the congregation who came forward and said that they would help to start this sisterhood.
And at that time, their life here was so hard, as we can all imagine, when our electricity is out from an ice storm. No electricity,
That's right.
No running water, living with everything that they were raising, and then to make the commitment to teach. It's amazing.
And really, the friars taught the sisters the rudimentary things they needed to become teachers to the children on the frontier. And not only did they start a school, but Father Wilson encouraged them to start a sisterhood. And so what we have here is the first American foundation of Dominican sisters in the United States.
So interesting.
Right here in central Kentucky.
So through the year, the first few buildings were probably very meager. Then they built a beautiful mother house that we call in the valley, Jonquil Valley,
right,
which burned in
1904. They had a terrible fire in January, and it all burned to the ground.
And there was a little controversy on building this present mother house.
That's right.
Back.
That's
there was
right.
a few people that had some issues with that.
Well, the local bishop actually encouraged, he really wanted the sisters to build in Louisville. And the sisters were very indebted to the people of Washington County. And so they took a vote. As Dominicans, were very democratic. And so the leadership, the General Council, voted 6-5 to stay in Washington County.
Interesting.
So by one vote, we're here today.
We're here. You're here. I feel like we're a part of it too. But so many people have dedicated their lives to this place, not just the religious but the lay people from the area. There's a wonderful museum over in the mother house.
That's right.
And there's many great stories about this place opening its doors to all people during the Battle of Perryville, during the Civil War, far and beyond. And then I've heard great stories about people that were stranded in a snowstorm and came here, and the sisters put them up.
Right.
I mean, just story after story. Of course, the school has been changing through the years. When I was young, I was in Lebanon at St. Augustine's, but a lot of the young people the women came here, and then we had the college, and then it integrated, and now we have a 4-year college and some master degrees program.
That's right.
And a new president, and a lot of new buildings.
Yes.
And a lot of faculty. A lot of
new energy, I would say. And this week is the beginning of a lot of ordinary activities that we do, but we put them in this week so as to highlight some of the activities surrounding the inauguration of Dr. Nattinger.
And today was a part of that.
Yes, it was.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leah Bands. I am the coordinator of the berry farming program. I'm here at St. Catharine College at our new home place farm, and we have just participated in the blessing of this campus farm. And I have with me Mary Berry. She's the executive director of the Berry Center, which is in Newcastle, Kentucky. And the Berry Center is the partnering organization for the berry farming program, which is here at St. Catharine College. We like to keep things as confusing as possible with repeating the name. But Mary, if you could tell us a little bit about what it means to you to be out here today and to see this land that we're going to be using for our educational farm.
One of the sisters said to me that our dream for the St. Catharine Berry Farm Program just keeps going and going and adding wonderful pieces like this beautiful piece of land. It's wonderful. It's a dream come true.
I couldn't agree more. Can you tell for the folks in our community who aren't very familiar with your father's work and with the legacy that the Berry family has made here in the state of Kentucky, could you just fill them in a little bit about what your family's work has been for farmers here in the state?
My father says that his father did the important work in the state, and that he and his brother John just followed in his footsteps. And what my grandfather did really was put an economy around diversified agriculture in this state. It's a pretty complicated issue, probably too long for this, but I started the Berry Center really to continue my grandfather's economic work around land conserving communities, good farming, and we always have on our mind what will it take for farmers in this state to be able to afford to farm well, which really is the essential question of modern agriculture.
Yeah, absolutely. And your family, something that I think that the people in our community will be very familiar with, even if they don't know that the Berry family has had a really leading role in that, is in the Burley Tobacco Growers Cooperative Association. Can you talk a little bit about the role that they played with that, and then also what you see as the vision for the Burley Cooperative to help farmers to do that, to be able to afford to farm well?
It was pretty clear to me about 5 years ago that the only farm program that served the people it was supposed to serve had been virtually forgotten in a very short amount of time. Really, the Burley Co-op has only been gone for 11 years. And so it seemed to me that it was necessary to talk again about a farm program that protected farmers in the marketplace, that talked about things like protecting farmers from overproduction, the farmer's age-old enemy, that we talked about things like parity, back to the question of what will it take for farmers to be able to afford to farm well. The tobacco program is something that we're trying to learn from, and we're using as a model, but it will not be a perfect fit. So what I see is agreements between cities and the landscape around them, around the cities. Cities know what they need, and so we can balance supply and demand with institutions in the cities. Complicated, but doable. I believe it's doable.
So that the countryside is feeding the city.
Well, all of this demand for delicious food going up, as my father says, is meeting the rural culture coming down. And if indeed food is a cultural product, another quotation from my father, then we've got to deal with the culture that will create again a culture that will produce good food.
Good food.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I love St. Catharine College. I love Washington County. And I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're always glad when you visit us here in Washington County.
Thank
we're always
you.
happy to have you. And
Thank you.
we're also happy when we get to take our students over to Henry County and visit you all there like we did last week.
That's right.
Thank you so much, and appreciate you telling us a little bit about your family.